And good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Cert Present Show for this April day, the 10th of April, a gloomy Thursday. Boy, I'm waiting for it to warm up, and it's not getting there, but we're going to have really a special person for us who's always lit up our studio. And really, over the years, I think he's been really just a featured part of the show. And I'm so glad he can make it tonight. And that's now retired firefighter, Lieutenant Anthony Rotke. Tony, how are you?
Oh, pretty good, Lou. Thanks for having me again. It's a different setting for me, though.
Now, listen, thank you for coming by, because it's another special night for you because it's your birthday. So happy birthday.
Yeah.
I won't ask how long, but I know you're younger than Terry.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you want me to sing happy birthday?
Are we
That's
singing?
okay.
Are we going to sing?
Well, at the end, I think we have. We'll just surprise Tony a bit and tell him we have a special presentation at the end.
Well, that's what makes it even more special coming on the birthday.
But thank you for getting over. This is the Cert Present Show. My name is Lou Bruno. I am your host. We've been at this about 10 years. Every other Thursday, we're in our groove. And tonight, again, we are additionally honored. Besides Tony Rotke, really one of the outstanding firefighters in the area. And there are many. There are just so many dedicated men and women in all the local departments. But Terry Cox, the captain, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
It is good to hear. Thank you for getting out. And to your right, a member of our Fremont CERT team. You've heard him before. AJ Przewski, and AJ stands for Aaron John, correct?
Aaron James.
Aaron James. Close. I got that pretty close.
AJ Przewski.
Przewski. Yeah, something like that. And I should also say, Captain, is it U.S. Army Reserve or National Guard?
National Guard. So Illinois National Guard.
Okay, thank you for not only serving in the National Guard, but our CERT team. And I know you have some day jobs, too, with all that. So he gets tied up. And last but not least, Jill Hughes, how are you?
I'm good. I don't have any titles or anything.
Oh, sure you don't. Lady J.
No
yes.
titles.
Yes. When you email you just send it to Lady J.
There you go.
Yeah, it goes right to her. But thank you. No, you are our contributing editor.
Right.
So you do have a title here.
Well, there you
He
go.
is also an American citizen.
Fairly newly American. Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for getting out tonight, and especially Tony, because I remembered only early in the week that we had a show, and I said, "Hey, we better line up a guest." And a couple of weeks ago, we talked about it. I saw the posting on Facebook of your retirement ceremony had come as a surprise. And everybody said, Terry, Jill, said, hey, we got to call Tony. We got to have him out. And really thank you for not only the 25 years with Countryside Fire Department, but, what you've meant for us on the show, because you were always a terrific guest. You always had something to add to the show and live the action here. What happened there? Something fell in studio. Just a keyboard. Luckily, I'll be able to be saved if I got hurt by that falling board. But not only did you really brighten up the show over the years, and I really think all of our 10 years, you were with us. I think Terry initially said, hey, you got to get Tony on, and he'd be great. Really, he's a fun guy. Bring him in, and it always was. We always had you back, and thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a great partnership. It's worked to 98.3 to have a special guest, but it's also worked in favor of the fire service and getting the word out about the Fire Safety Expo and the different activities that take place in Lake County. So it's been great both ways. Thank you.
You did
Yeah.
a presentation for Cert too, didn't you? The Fremont Cert.
Oh, a few times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
times.
Yep. We train those folks because they're in our fire district.
Yep.
Yeah, and also I should mention, and again, all of the open houses, the pancake breakfast, etc., are fun. We urge people to get out and go meet your firefighters and see what equipment they have, because a lot of it you can get hands-on. But we never missed Countryside. It was always, I think, the best attended one. That is for sure. And Tony, how many years did you coordinate that?
About 20 on the
About
fire
20
and
years.
life safety education side of things.
Yeah, but the first Saturday or Sunday in October was always breakfast and open house at Countryside.
How often I get served breakfast by a fireman.
yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it.
And Tony just always had a great event there.
And we appreciate you guys coming and helping us with traffic control and promoting CERT and all the good things that you guys do.
Oh, well, thank you. We greatly appreciate it. But I should ask what made back in the beginning 25 years ago. Why firefighting?
Oh, well, I bought my first house in Wonder Lake, Illinois, and coming from Illinois State University, I had done some first aid classes, CPR, lifeguarding, kind of had a little background in, safety that way. And I figured it'd be a great way to meet some good people. Went over to Wonder Lake Fire Protection District's headquarters, Station 1, and they said they'd be happy to take me on. They put me to EMT training, the emergency medical technician training, the firefighting training for the state certification to the OSFM, Office of State Fire Marshal. And after a couple of years, they said, hey, would you be willing to go through paramedic class? And I was a little leery, but because I was like, I'm not sure. And they're like, you'll be fine. We'll help you get through it. And they sure did. And looking at what was going on around the McHenry and Lake County with firefighting, it was gaining popularity in terms of careers. I was in a good role where I was, but I was taking a real liking to it with the training and the people I was meeting.
I listen. I talk too much, so
No, that's why you have the show.
Jill, question for Tony there.
Well, I find that all invaluable. The CPR training and everything that you do. It's like you can't learn too much of that. So I would encourage anybody to go to any of those classes, that especially because they're local. So,
Yes, and I know all the departments around here have some type of CPR program for the public, in addition to businesses and the school
Right.
staff and so forth, as well as other trainings such as fire extinguisher training and some things that can help you keep safe in your own home.
I think a lot of people have a fire extinguisher, but they have not necessarily used it or know how to use it.
Yeah, a lot of people
And when
don't,
you have a
don't know how
fire,
to use it.
it's not the time to learn.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, also we're big into prevention, and that helps
Right.
reduce fires. We'd rather see you prevent a fire than have
Than
to,
have one.
proactive versus reactive.
Right. And the response time is really good for you guys. I mean, for anything local.
Well, that was another learning curve, is the fires that start and how fast they go,
Right.
because of the fuel contents that we have in our homes, the wood, paper, plastic items, and all this different fabric. And it's incredible how fast fire grows. People don't realize it.
Do the older homes burn quicker than the new construction because of the materials they're using?
The newer homes burn faster than
Oh,
the
they
old.
do?
Yes,
Oh.
they call it legacy. Is the
Oh.
older materials back in the 70s and so forth. But now the materials are more synthetic and they burn
Oh.
hotter and faster.
Now, some of the older wiring, like the knob and tube, that's out there sometimes. That's also a bit of a risk, isn't it?
Well, with the electrical, yeah, it's, typically now fortunately in our area here, we got the conduit with the wires in the pipe. So metal pipe.
That's how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah,
right?
not every area and state follows that code,
Right.
that standard.
So one of the things that I noticed a lot of times when there's first responders on the scene, there's a whole team that comes out there. You get like an ambulance and a fire truck on a regular basis just for a call. Why do they do that?
That's a great question, and I get that all the time. So, like the car accident, what happens is the engine is going to be a crew to assist the ambulance crew and also block traffic. You're wondering, why is that fire engine parked that way? It's to protect the scene for the victims, of course, and the first responders. So we're part of the solution and don't become part of the problem and get hit or something like that. So, and manpower, that's why the fire engine's there as well, for manpower. Lots of times on medical calls, a fire engine's summoned because the ambulance crew, our ambulance crews only run 2 people in an ambulance. And if there's a cardiac arrest, a stroke, something basically life-threatening, we need all hands on deck, and an engine will have at least 3 other guys, maybe 4. A fire engine will have 3 or other guys or 4 guys, and the manpower is, very important to get things going. Best thing for the patient.
So when there are multiple casualties, the ability, that first aid training, that paramedic training, like you went through as a fireman, really comes in handy, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure, because you have to triage. You're going to be looking at, okay, what's going on, and we're going to have to summon additional ambulances, more manpower, based on multiple casualties or multiple, victims. And then triaging is, prioritizing who's going first, who's going to be heading to the hospital first.
But you normally treat them on the scene before they.
Oh yeah, we
before they
would
go.
start treating absolutely on the scene before transport. But if there's one ambulance to supervise and triage, they're not going anywhere till they can sort things out. But right away they're going to be summoning for additional ambulances and manpower, probably more fire engines as well.
Terry.
Sounds like it may have been a medical emergency. They don't know that yet, but that's what it says. It may
Oh,
have-
the accident.
Right. It says preliminary.
Unfortunately, there was a
nobody
fatal
else-
accident. Do you want to run that down for everybody?
I don't have my glasses.
Oh, okay.
But it's good that he didn't hit anybody else.
Driver that died crashing into an SUV and a guardrail.
Got it.
6083 yesterday afternoon.
Was it yesterday? Okay,
Right.
good. Jill was.
There
It
was
was
a
yesterday.
fatality.
Jill,
Yeah.
you are. I should have known that
I'm
you
on
had
it.
it down. That you
I'm
were
on
on it. Okay, because I thought it was today. Sorry.
But it's very lucky that usually the people who cause the accident are not the ones that get hurt, but they hit other vehicles and other people get hurt or often die because of the person that caused it. And this is not the case. They didn't hit anybody else, which is a blessing.
It's sad that 6083 stretch. It's just a 2-lane road,
Right.
and it's
There's a lot of accidents on that
constantly,
road.
yeah, constant traffic there.
You've got-
Heavy traffic too.
You've got the crossing there, the railroad crossing, and yeah, it gets backed up. It's a very busy road.
Yeah, and also if somebody is stopped to make a left or right
Right.
turn, and then backs up the traffic. So yeah, it's a particular problem on that stretch from Midlothian, since I travel it almost every day, from Midlothian down to Diamond Lake Road there.
Okay.
It's just stretch. So
I don't take that road for that reason. Even if it's the quickest route to get where I'm going, I just don't take it. Because if there's a backup, you don't have anywhere else to go. There's no other route.
There's
Yeah.
there's a few freight trains that can slow you down at that spot too,
Right.
close to there. But
They'd always come by when I'm traveling for dinner.
Yeah. One of the things that kind of makes me wonder is like there's jurisdictions, and you guys are often helping across those lines. Also multiple organizations. I mean, we were talking earlier about the police and police, fire, and paramedic, but there's also organizations like Cert that sometimes can figure into that. Can you talk a little bit about the cooperation amongst other organizations?
Absolutely. We have what's called ARAs, automatic response agreements, with the neighboring fire departments. And that's where these ambulances and additional fire engines based on the incident are going to be coming from. So there's already an agreement worked out. So if there's a certain type of call, and let's just call it a structure fire, somebody's house is on fire, the neighboring departments for that address are automatically going to be called. We don't even have to think about calling them. It just happens when the 911 is placed, and dispatchers put that address into the CAD, into
It's
the
going to increase the
computer aided
response time
dispatch.
or decrease it. Get you there faster.
Correct. And one reason it's an automatic response agreement is to reduce the amount of time with the closest departments responding, because there's some areas where, in our case at Countryside, Mundelein Fire Department is closer to some of the addresses in our district from their fire stations. So if it's an ambulance call, they're going to be taking it. Countryside is closer to some of Mundelein's residents, and they're going to get a Countryside ambulance, not a Mundelein ambulance, because we're closer. And it makes sense, and it's the best thing for the community and all the residents, regardless of where they live, because we're all getting the same training, if you will, in terms of paramedic continuing education, the firefighting training. We train together, not all the time, but on several occasions, we're teaming up with the local and neighboring departments to do that training and know our expectations.
Yeah. Let me just break in here, play radio host. You're listening to the Cert Present Show on 98.3 FM, The Life of Lake County, broadcasting from Round Lake Beach in our great studio. And Tony was right. Tony had been here a few months ago. He said, Lou, something's different. And we hadn't been in for 2 weeks, and I think the table has been lowered or something, because I can't see Terry. I have to get up on my tippy toes almost to see Terry there. But we are on every other Thursday. You can catch us over the air, 98.3 FM. We stream live on Twitch TV. We stream live on YouTube. And then also the show is archived. So when Tony gets home, he can see what a lovely sight he is there on that, or AJ's family could be watching him at home right now. I know John Hughes will be watching in.
He usually watches till 6:30, and then he's got people coming over, so they take first dibs over the show.
All right. And then we want to thank all the people that make it possible. Fremont Township CERT team. This is an outreach effort. Everyone at Fremont Township and the administration and the citizens who sponsor our team. Lake County Department of Public Health, Lake County Emergency Management. If I forgot anyone, please forgive me. And all the guests like Tony that, we've over the years just say, hey, can we get you out? Can we talk about this?
They don't usually say no. Everyone usually wants to come on.
Well, that's because you and Terry and Mary, Ann over the years. It's not been me, trust me.
But the guests make the show. The guests really make the show. Otherwise, it would just be like us and Lou. It's like that. Just yeah.
Thank you.
Now, Tony, I don't know if we squeezed it in yet, but you're not done with firefighting or Countryside, so you'll be around the department. You're going to be doing what?
Definitely transitioning into a part-time fire inspector role. Very nice, because that was part of the plan, part of my goals in terms of having some structure in this pool of retirement as I wade into it. So very nice to have some structure, because I was just telling these guys that I can't go from 60 hours a week to 0. Got to have something to do, and this has
Yeah.
been planned for a while. So yeah, part-time fire inspector, and it's in my blood. Fire safety, life safety, and it's a good thing too because I'm able to give a little guidance and help with the transition of the 2 new folks who are in the fire life safety educators role.
And, who is that? So the public knows, in case they need to reach out to somebody.
Yeah, that's going to be Casey Staffseth and Bella O'Gurick.
Okay, and I'm sure they'll just be as friendly as Tony has been over the years.
Very, very much so,
and willing to help. Who's gonna get the school job?
Primarily that'll be Casey.
Yeah, okay.
But they're both learning, so they understand the roles and what needs to be completed. In case one of them is not there, then the other one's going to have to help out. So
yeah, it was amazing. I think we had you on last summer actually, and you had just told us you were out at Vernon Hills High School for the graduation and had related. Literally, you had helped the kids that graduated from kindergarten all the way through. They got to see firefighter Tony every year.
It's amazing. I've had some of those kids, like you just said, kindergarten, graduation of high school. That's 13 years that I've had a relationship at an acquaintance level. But it's humbling to walk into a school and have several children shout out, "Hey, Fireman Tony, how you doing?" And so that's pretty special.
That's good. Terry, and I'm sorry, I know you've been saying yes, that's true, but I'm sure you have the most insightful comments after a career as a firefighter, and then really an active career once you're retired as chief.
Well, there's also a lot of other things go on with a fire, such as a RIT team and so on and so forth. We have to have a team ready to go in and take care of the people that are fighting the fire in case something happens. And that's what the RIT team is for.
Yeah, and then I know you spent so many years with the support team and really kept responding up to a couple of years ago. You got the bus out there and were able to provide place to warm up and food and coffee and everything. It was just outstanding service to all the firefighters, and not only firefighters that come out to the scene. Police, a lot of time public works are out there, highway department. I mean, as AJ pointed out, it's an extensive response when something goes nowadays. There's any number of agencies involved.
Yeah, Terry did an awesome job with the rehab bus.
We always say we're the last ones in and the first ones out.
It sounds a little familiar.
and we should say, depending upon the occasion, the Illinois National Guard, we had, I think we were all involved in the COVID response or testing or vaccinations. I mean, Tony was giving shots, I believe. I think I ran into you.
Oh, yeah.
One day over at the fairgrounds. It was our privilege to work with the Illinois National Guard at one or two of the sites because they help staff that on it. And just, and when you work with the different agencies, different departments, the other certs teams, you really, it makes the experience all that better. It truly does on it. But I'm talked out. So, Jill,
Are you okay? All right. No, I was going to ask Tony if you're, if you're semi-retired, you're still with the fire department. But if you're driving around in your car and you see an accident and you're not on duty, you can stop and respond to that.
Absolutely, yes, and that's happened several times in my life.
I'm sure it has.
In terms of stopping and making sure everybody was okay.
If you're right there, obviously you're going to be a quick response.
Yeah, and lots of times, with cell phones now, people have been on the cell phone already and called, and but just stopping and making sure somebody doesn't need to be held or C collar or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not often, but it's happened in my career.
Terry, you're
It's happened
shaking in there.
in all of our careers.
Right.
I think.
AJ, I know you were on the scene at somebody's house in Mundelein when there was a need to get some first aid, and you and your wife Linda, another one of our team members, did an excellent job on that.
Excellent job. Right. A+, I would say.
We have to credit Linda for Linda Piskuski for jumping in there and really taking the lead on some immediate first aid and
Yeah.
getting you into the car and on your way to the hospital. So
That
it
was
worked out
no
nice.
fun for me, but you guys honestly did a fabulous job. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. John just looked at me and said, I would never have been able to get you off the floor. And I would never have been able to get up on my own. So
Well, I was just going to pick you up and I was going to grab a couple of people, pick you up and throw you in
No.
the car.
No.
But Linda and
Yeah.
AJ had a much better approach
Yeah.
than mine. But accidents do happen around the house, as our expert guys here will say it. Best memories of 25 years. I mean, what sticks out? I'm sure there's got to be a lot of things.
Well, I guess so. I'd have to categorize that, my family, my children, the fire department, playing rugby.
I didn't know you were a rugby player.
Oh yeah. So
There's a lot of blood in that game, isn't there?
you've seen it, right,
I've
Jill?
been to rugby games.
okay.
Yes, I've live rugby games.
I think
Yeah.
that was maybe part of the draw into the fire service too, was the physicality of
Right.
it, and I had that going for me all my previous years. But when it comes to the fire service, I have to say that when I walk into a school and those kids remember my name, or I ask them how often they should test a smoke alarm, and they can give me the correct answer, that is what I was trying to do, was make them safer. My secondary audience being their parents, and having parents tell me, yeah, my kids would come home and say, we got to make a plan and test the smoke alarms. And we can't pin it on education. We call it the 3 E's. We can't just pin it on enforcement in terms of our inspections. We can't just pin it on engineering, but coupled together, the 3 E's, and education, engineering, and enforcement, have reduced the amount of fires we've had in Countryside's fire district, to the extent that millions have been saved. Because we don't look at the losses anymore. We look at what's been saved, and the culture that's within our fire district is just something that I'm very, very proud of.
No, and you're very right in that. Really, the focus has been shifted to prevention, where it should be, and you're saving lives and money, and for everyone, down the line. If there's no fire at the house, you don't have to respond to a call. You don't have to call your insurance company at home saying, hey, the kitchen, we just burnt that down because of something that was preventable. The minor injuries that, somehow seem to occur no matter what the call is, because somebody goes out and does something. So you're right. It's just been hugely successful. And from an early age, the kids learning fire safety is priceless.
And they take that with them as they get older. Just what I've been told before is, fire sprinklers are going to take our jobs away as firefighters. And I've always been a little older. I got into it a little later, and I had to explain, well, if you don't have to go to a fire and fight a fire, and the family doesn't have a fire, that's kind of a win-win, right? It's not kind of, it is a win-win. There's no fire in the family's home, and then the firefighters don't have a fire to go put out, and it keeps them safer. So ultimately, it just takes just maybe a little time to swallow that. But yeah, fire sprinklers, yeah, are a firefighter's best friend, in my opinion.
Terry, I guess you can give the before and after. I'm guessing all during Tony's career, fire sprinklers were pretty much there. Maybe more limited at the beginning, but now extensively. But Terry, you were involved when there were none, I'm guessing. And how did the world change on that?
Oh, the world changed tremendously. And you can't even say how much it's changed because it changes every day.
Yeah.
And if we don't all work together, it can't change.
Yeah, absolutely. I may have to go off on a rugby tangent. A friend of mine just came back from New Zealand, and of course, brought probably New Zealand's biggest export now is rugby, and the famous New Zealand All Blacks. I think they call it rugby team.
Yep.
And I got a nice All Blacks tie. He brought me back.
Very nice.
And I think they're coming. They're actually touring New Zealand versus Ireland.
I got my tickets already.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
AJ, you're going to be out there?
But are you inspired enough to actually get out there and try some moves on Tony? And are we?
No.
Well, my playing days are over.
I would say not the best idea. I know we had a coworker years ago who played rugby, and we'd go down. John and I would go and watch the game, and it's a fast-moving, rough game. And there's honestly like a person at the sidelines with a bucket and a sponge, and there's blood, and they sponge you off, and you go back on and you play. Yeah. It's not like, oh, you can't play. It's like get back on the field. Yeah. Right. I think that's why we like it. Yeah,
it is a great spectator sport.
It is.
I have a group of kids right now who play rugby, and one of them is a left-handed kicker.
No.
Oh, my.
So that's got to be rough.
Well, I still may get out for the game. So maybe November 1st, I'm thinking.
The Ireland New Zealand game.
Yeah.
It's in November for sure at Soldiers Field, is from what I understand as well.
Yeah. No, I know it's Soldiers Field on it. And when's the next Rugby World Cup next year?
I'm not sure, but I know this game against Ireland and New Zealand is going to be the big tiebreaker, because a few years ago, the All Blacks beat Ireland terribly, and just a couple of years ago, Ireland beat the All Blacks terribly. So this is going to be the big grudge match.
Oh,
Okay.
In November.
That always makes it so much more fun.
right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I should also point out, and this has been great for all the CERT teams, everybody that's interested in response. And, Tony and the department were just big on it, providing training opportunities and classes. And some of the classes you've had over the years have been unique. And I presume they'll still be offered, but do you want to run those down?
Yeah. I always enjoyed like thinking outside the box. And I think with that mentality, we were able to do some fun stuff and expose the CERT to some things that they typically wouldn't be dealing with. It was just to expose them, give them awareness. And they're not going to be taking the jaws of life and cutting open a car and spreading doors. But
I wouldn't mind that terribly, though. I just to throw that in there.
But to give them an idea of like, okay, here, hold on to this tool, and they're like, oh my goodness, this is very heavy. Yeah. And an opportunity to work those tools within their capability, of course. Nobody had to do it. It was like, okay, use this and squeeze this 4x4 block. Can you pick that up with the tool? And just things like that. Fire extinguisher training, like Jill said, a lot of people don't know how to use them. And, well, we want you to know how to.
Them,
we want you to know how to pull a pin and aim and squeeze and sweep. And that's some basic stuff. But how heavy hoses,
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't
yeah.
realize it's hose. Well, now you add water at
Right.
eight pounds a gallon. And some
Oh, that's heavy.
hose,
Right.
yeah, it has 100 gallons in it. You're talking, 800 pounds. So
Right.
And all the equipment you wear on your back and in the suit and
yeah, and let
ventilator.
and let you guys try on the gear without the air pack, and then put the air pack on, and
Right.
just have to carry that around without even breathing on air. But yeah,
Then you got to run upstairs.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had a lot of great guys who were willing to break down into groups and help that. It wasn't all fireman Tony doing that with Cert. It was the duty crew, as we refer to the guys on duty for the day, the paramedic firefighters as well. So kudos to our duty crew, because they always happily got involved and rose to the occasion.
Yeah, no, we've had excellent training sessions over the years, and as you say, it when we go out there, it would be to show us cribbing, fire extinguishers, etc. We'd meet the duty crew, and they'd run through things. Just they're pros, and what can we say? It was a great instruction, and always made. One of the things you get out there, at least me and a civilian, and I guess maybe Jill's perspective, each of you guys who operated specialized equipment no differently, but the complexity that's involved is something that we didn't understand. But once you get out there and you see it, it's like, wow. And I always thought that something that we could effectively do here with this show is to communicate to the general public, listen, I know you're paying tax dollars, but when you see the equipment that this department has and the training that is needed and constantly refreshed, you'll be happy that you're spending those dollars, because it's saving maybe your life sometime, and friends and neighbors, etc. On it. But that's always something that struck me. Terry, you're shaking, yeah.
They never stop training. They're always learning something new, and it's always something new, and it's the way to do it.
Yeah, another story that's just currently in the news, I guess, out of New York City, a helicopter, a tourist helicopter, just may have broken up in midair and crashed into the river, and with, unfortunately, a family that was doing it, and 3 children. And as you say, I mean, it's always something new, and listen, you guys can tell us whether you ever trained in that scenario, a helicopter crash in water, but God, that that one doesn't happen all the time, obviously. Thank God it doesn't.
No, I know the divers do some training in the cold waters. I'm sure the Hudson River at this time of the year is bone chilling, cause hypothermia within minutes. But something I was proud to get involved with that at the Vernon Hills High School was the ice rescue, and it was brought to me by Grays Lake North was doing it. Grays Lake physical welfare guy came over to Vernon Hills, says, "Hey, they're doing this in Grays Lake." I'm like, "All right, we could do it here." And so we've been doing the hypothermia ice rescue in the outdoor ed classes for about the last 10 years, where we're getting the students in the Mustang suits and letting them make the rescues for the students who choose to do it. And so that's been pretty special. But we haven't trained like recovering anybody out of a helicopter, of course, so, but some programs, like I said, out of the box that you won't hear about maybe in another high school or two.
Well, we did training back in the early 60s, I would say. And we were doing going into ravines and stuff, and we used the Coast Guard helicopters then at that time to help do that.
Yeah, the Coast Guard helicopter that for many years was based out of Glenview NAS was really something that everybody in the entire area, was aware of, and you would see it frequently. And some time ago, it wasn't a recent budget decision, but God, maybe even 20 years ago, they decided to base it out of Michigan with occasional visits here. But it was really a something you see. I'm Tony smiling there. You got a story there. Go ahead.
Well, no, I just I'm just listening and taking it all in, Lou.
Yeah, but there was the Coast Guard helicopter was a feature. You'd see it in the sky quite frequently.
Well, I'm wondering if the National Guard has had something like that with helicopters and they got some premier equipment as well.
So we've got in Illinois, we've got both the Army National Guard and Air National Guard, and we don't. So we do have some helicopters, and we have the ability to, provide some liaison and support to different things. I think one of the things that they do is more of familiarization, where they'll use some of their flight hours that they have to get in for their annual training. They'll try and maximize that value with the community and try and get people on board. And so it's really one of the things that, if you ever get a chance to do that, to ride around in a Black Hawk helicopter.
I would love to do that. Oh my God. I would love, that's on my list.
It's really
I would love to do that.
We had the last time I went, they were able to, they were scheduled to do Nap of the Earth. So they're zooming in and out of the canyons and doing all kinds of crazy stunts. And, we're trying to hold on to our lunch as we enjoyed it,
Yeah.
I was always too big. I couldn't go on to Flight for Life to do some, as we referred to it, ride time. I was just too heavy.
Speaking of that, June 7th at
yes, we had the Flight
go
for
ahead.
Life. At
tell everybody
at
about
the
it.
hospital, Northwestern Hospital on 120, they had a Flight for Life helicopter at the children's fair, and weather permitting, that Flight for Life helicopter comes in, and you get a tour of the hospital. You get to meet all kinds of people. Fire department's usually there. Everybody's there. Everybody's there.
Yeah, that's an excellent event. It started back up last year. We were there, and we look forward to being back out there. And Grays Lake Fire is usually there with a vehicle display.
Yep.
We'll be our CERT team and some of our adjoining CERT teams will be out there. Lake County Sheriff will be out there. We've had all sorts of agency participation over the years, and there's a great picture of all the people involved in response, all the agencies on our Fremont Township CERT. So take a look at it. The photographer did a great job. I even look good. And we've over the years been able to have the Flight for Life come in, weather permitting, and they don't. They do not do anything marginal. I mean, if it just if it isn't absolutely right, they don't bring it in, which is the right thing to do.
I was able to go in there and look around the helicopter, and it's crammed. It's so much stuff in there.
Yeah,
everything you would need, and more.
Really good training. Give you a lot of different organizations involved, and then, but it's not just the only type of CERT community events and training that are going on right now. Lou, you want to run through a couple of the current things? I know I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the recycling event that's coming up on the 31st.
May the 31st, the township will have a recycling event. That's a paper recycling event. And that there'll be more details posted later, but that will be from 8 to 12. In the fall, there'll be a full recycling event. I don't have that date memorized yet, but it's like September 25th, something around there. where you can bring in all
Right.
sorts of things. Actually, I think there is a chemical recycling in
That's not.
in Mundelein coming
Yeah,
up.
that's not Fremont. That's usually at the train station,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So and that's really important. Hey, Tony, you probably know it better. How easy are your old paints, chemicals around the house to start a fire?
It's a great program to recycle your old paint and things that you're not using, folks. So for all you millions of listeners out there, please take advantage of these programs in your communities and get those items to typically your public works locations.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up that, and I wanted to do that. So thanks, AJ, for mentioning that.
And I
but
think isn't there a free?
Oh, you got it? Go ahead. Read it. Go ahead. I think Jill's got the info on that. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So there's spring brush chipping dates. We got that Countryside Lakes. So we got chipping. We got there's also the passport event at Fremont Township. Shredding event is May 31st. And that you have to enter through the highway department and exit out on 60. So that is always seems to be an issue because people want to come in off of 60. Not allowed to do that. We've had people driving over the lawn trying to get in. They just go around the back. Okay. What else do we have? Okay. We have a fire and police expo at Gurney Mills. That's Saturday, May 17th. All day.
Tony mentioned that at the beginning.
All day.
Yeah. More details on that, please. That's a huge
That's
one.
going to be in the parking lot. Is it around by Bass Pro around the back of the mall?
Yep, over on the east side of Gurney Mills on May 17th. I know you guys got
Okay.
your recycling at the end of the month, April, and May 17th is that big county fire expo, which
Right.
last year they added in the police. So now it's the Fire and Police Expo, and it was pretty special. And I know you mentioned Grays Lakes having their event a few weeks later. But this event with the fire chiefs, Lake County fire chiefs, and now Lake County Police Departments, not just Lake County Sheriff, but all the Lake County Police Departments are invited.
It's been getting bigger and bigger every year.
And they're bringing back the Tunnel of Towers as well, and that's the 9/11 tribute from New York. That is, if you haven't seen it, it is something special. It's tear-jerking to say the least.
Yeah, the state police put on a demonstration too.
Yeah, the state police were involved, but lots of activities, lots of stuff to see on May 17th between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. at Gurney Mills.
And I think one of the years, I think you were here promoting it with, who else was working it? I forget who we had in.
There was a couple of people from Gurney Mills.
Yeah, we had somebody from Gurney Mills, but one of the other departments. Terry, do you remember?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
And at that time, Mess was there.
Okay.
And that's the partnership I'm talking about, 98.3, the life, getting the word out about the Police and Fire Expo and these other great events going on around the county. So we appreciate that.
No, listen, it warm, that's why we're here. I mean, unless you have media promoting these things and local media, because I don't want to get on my soapbox, but a Chicago station isn't going to cover it. If it's happening up in Gurney, they probably don't care. They don't probably care that much. That, for instance, with Terry's town of Lake Forest, where he was chief for many years, they're organizing a CERT team now, and we couldn't be happier that they're doing it. So if you're in Lake Forest and want to help out, as Jill and I and AJ has, guys like Terry and Tony, which really it warms our heart when we are able to help out a firefighter, police officer. Hey, you have that opportunity. But and the other thing I've just it touches my heart every time. There's not been a firefighter, police officer, other agencies that when we're out there helping them, they have not been anything but extremely thankful, appreciate our coming out, whether it's for a training exercise, or, an actual crowd control event, or, the other things that we do. And when, one of, a firefighter, police officer, etc., says thank you, it just, gives me a shudder saying, listen, hey, what do you guys do? I'm not
Right.
even though I nearly got run over once on a 4th of July event because somebody wanted to come into the parking lot that I was closing.
You have to say no. Yeah, they don't like that word.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to say no.
Right.
But hey, every time he's on, it's never enough. Hey, now that you're going to have a little bit of free time, how about the Firefighter Tony show?
Oh, wow.
I mean,
We'll have to talk about it.
listen, when you go home and see how good you look on YouTube,
Right.
you're going to say, hey,
I'll have to send that link to everybody on my email list.
yeah, if they just go 98.3 FM. But also, too, it's great, and we encourage, a lot of the departments or agencies to come in here because now, since we've had the studio and have the YouTube stream, it's really an advantage because, often over the years, you've been here, promoting a particular event, and it just works as, a commercial promotional aid for it. And then you link it. And as you say, it's all connected there. So,
You have a show, Lou could be a guest. He's a good guest.
Very
Right.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, Jill, is it time for the special presentation though? We have just a couple of minutes.
In a minute. Yeah. Is that,
Okay.
Are we almost done?
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. We're almost done, but,
I was going to say people should go to the countrysidefire.com website because the safety tips has a ton of stuff on there. Carbon monoxide alarms, beat the heat, Christmas tree safety, which we don't need yet, but we will. Clothes dryer fire, and I'm sure you've seen your fair share of those. Bathroom exhaust fan, fire hazards. So people may not know about this stuff. So there's a wealth of information on this website.
If I
So
can
check it out.
mention before we do depart, sadly, we had 2 preventable fires in some large houses. One caused by smoking in the garage, didn't have the smoking material fully extinguished, basically cigarettes.
Oh,
And the next was grilling on the deck, which the grill was also right next to the house within a foot. And we've been teaching for years, you can't be grilling on your deck, and make sure your smoking materials, cigarettes, cigars are fully extinguished. And both of those fires sadly preventable.
I would think there's a good percentage of house fires that are preventable.
Yeah, and these were about like 4,000 square foot homes. They were massive homes. Yeah,
Wow.
sad.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
please, go to countrysidefire.com and check out those safety tips. Thanks, Jill.
yeah, whatever town you're in, I mean, go to your local town because there's a lot of specific town information, and again, who to contact, and what's going on in the town. Learn who, because they list the people that are there. Learn who's the chief. Learn who may be the battalion chief, the watch commanders at the police department. But then just a ton of information there.
Yeah.
So Jill is back. Oh, we have 2 cards. Please give. We have 2 cards there for Tony. One is you don't need
2 for Thursday.
but we one is a birthday and one is congratulations.
Thank you so much, Jill
And
Lou,
No,
Terry, AJ.
Listen, the least we can do. And
We
Jill,
have cake
we have cake.
because it's somebody's birthday.
On
Right.
top of it. Yeah.
You got 2 thumbs up from me.
We can't bring it in here, but it's over there.
Perfect.
Yes, we do.
No
keep,
food in here, so-
Perfect.
Food out on it.
We
So
can't light all the candles because there'd be a fire. So
Yeah.
we can't
Yes.
do that either.
we're not
Yeah.
going to light candles
We don't need that.
in here tonight. No, that is good news that you're going to be in the neighborhood, but you're going to have time to get out and have some vacation that you didn't in the past. Got a trip to Kentucky, you said.
Yeah.
All set up.
And come back here to 98.3.
All right.
Say
Well,
that again. That's good. You do that really well.
Come back here to 98.3, The Life.
all right. Well, Terry, AJ, Jill, thank you for tonight. It's been special for us to be here with Tony, and to know also it feels good to know. Hey, I could still call him and get him over here and
Sure thing.
tell the people. Well, Terry's probably working on it too, but tell the people with the Police and Fire Expo to come on in. We always enjoy having them on, giving out more details of that. So for the group, I will say, have a good evening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Good night, everybody. Be well.
Good
And
night.
be
Thanks.
safe.